Blessings and greetings. Greetings in this most and paradoxically within the realm of humane mundane activities. I'd like to reflect on a conversation that I had with a friend. I was very happy to say a friend who just got married in the last month, Reb Shaya Horowitz, Crown Heights. And he mentioned to me that he has a friend out in Kentucky. He didn't say his friend's name. And somehow they met by Shkacha Pratis, divine providence. And what happened was they found out they both had the same type of Chumash, the 5 books of Moses. And they began a relationship. And in the middle of that discussion about his relationship, Reb Shai's relationship with this individual, how this person doesn't want to take another person's mitzvah away, he wants to do his own mitzvahs. I brought up the conversation, have you ever mentioned to me about the idea of Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, the 7 universal Noahide commandments? And he told me that he felt that he was being put in a box by being confined to just those 7 Noahide commandments. Same time too, he's heard, and I've also read, and I've also interviewed one rabbi about the idea of a ger toshav, which the Rogachover Goen, a very great scholar and sage, passed on about 90 plus years ago, mentioned there could be an idea of a ger toshav, but from the strict point of the law, right now in the land of Israel, we don't have ger toshavim because we don't have this idea of the yovel, the jubilee. This is to allow someone who indentured him or herself to an Israelite that they can go out in the Jubilee year. If there's no Jubilee year, they would be, so to speak, forever indentured. So I thought about this for a moment, and it dawned on me that so many people have this misperception of the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach. And even before that, I'd like to mention that the title Ben Noach, or Bas Noach, B'nai Noach, children of Noah, daughter of Noah, son of Noah, is a term according to Torah, meaning we are identifying your lineage according to the Torah, the Bible as you might call it, some would even call it the Old Testament, I call it the Old and Eternal Testament. In chapter 6, verse 13, you'll see openly that the 3 sons of Noah are called the sons of Noah, the B'nai Noach. And also, at the point where Noah and his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, left the ark, they are identified again in chapter 10, verse 1, Noach and his sons. Well, that's not using necessarily exactly the term of Benoch, but in chapter 10, verse 1, it says, Elo todos b'nei Noach. These are the generations of the children of Noach. So if you are accepting upon yourself, as we do of Israel, the biblical narrative, of the genealogy of the entire human family experience, it says in chapter 12, verse 3 in the book of Genesis, in Parshas Lech Lecha, where we learn more about our tzaddik, our forefather, our patriarch, Abraham. The nations are called all the families of the earth. So according to Torah, you are called either of all the families of the earth, or you're called the Bnei Noach, or the sons of Noach. Also, if you go to the book of Chronicles, chapter 1, verse 4, it mentions Noach and his 3 sons. So what is this idea of we of Israel putting, so to speak, the Gentiles in a box? So I guess that's the same argument that Jews who do not keep the Torah and the commandments felt like they're being put in a box. Excuse me, I'm just building up my comments properly. Because it's too confining. But we do know, or I do know from my 20 plus years in the field of mental health and social services, that structure empowers a person. That which guides you is empowering you, as long as there's no subterfuge involved. So the 7 Noahide commandments not to blaspheme Creator, not to serve idols, not to commit premeditated murder, not to steal, not to commit adultery, not to eat the limb of an animal while it's still alive, and to raise up righteous court systems which will enforce those 6 other commandments, and all matters connected to stabilizing human society, civilization, cultures, belief systems, economic systems. As much as people get a euphoric rise from when they start to encounter Torah, unfortunately many people feel encumbered by being told what to do. But again, that's what we of Israel have been working with. It's something we've struggled with, not just with the 10 commandments, the 613 commandments, the 7 rabbinical edicts, which have the force of the Torah itself, the oral Torah tradition, which without it, the Torah itself would cease, the written Torah, because there is so misinterpretation has been used to justify slavery and unjustified killing and unjustified torture, misreading of an eye for an eye, a tooth for the tooth, meaning literally, as we see in some cultures around the world, even to this day, when it's talking about monetary compensation. So my question for this person is, why do you feel being put in a box by the 7 other commandments? Do you know that within each commandment there branch out other commandments? There are commandments which branch out of do not curse the Creator. There are mitzvahs that branch out of do not commit idolatry, do not commit premeditated murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not eat the limb of a living animal, pertaining to cruelty to animals, righteous justice systems to promote charity, to prevent euthanasia, and other edicts which are leading in our society where every year millions and millions of innocent souls are slaughtered, and this is considered someone's right to do so. So I don't see where, my friend, wherever you are in Kentucky, we are holding you back. And my friend Shai Horowitz told me that, in fact, this person said he doesn't want to become a Jew. So my question to him is not to encourage you, because we of the Jewish nation are not here to recruit anyone to come, but rather to encourage the 7 Noahide commandments. And those who want to take that brave step, a guy and his gayer, to become a convert who converts, really a Jewish soul that was born in a body that was not of the 12 tribes of Israel, and makes the heroic process of swimming back like the salmon. The salmon swims up water, streams, to reclaim his rightful place amongst the nation of Israel. It's not easy, but I can tell you as someone who is engaged in the process of returning to my roots, because I was not raised, because of whatever reasons, probably because of the harsh anti-Semitism that existed in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s by their own personal family. They felt scared, afraid, they had trepidations about expressing their Jewishness. There was a time when there was an expression to be a Jew at home and to be like everyone else on the outside. That process has failed miserably. It has led to a lot of anxiety and a lot of misbehavior, as we've seen in recent months and even recent years, of Jews who are unbridled in their rapacious desires for money and other things, which we know what I'm talking about, have led to Chilul Hashem, a desecration of the name of Hashem. That doesn't mean those of us in the community don't have those same desires. We do, but we have a system of itkafia, of sublimating our desires to a higher desire to serve Creator. And if you are a Ben Noach and you feel kind of like in a box because you don't have 7 mitzvahs, because you haven't learned enough Torah. You haven't gotten the right encouragement from the right teachers. Rather, you're being told again, once again, as anti-Semites have done historically against our people, there's a hidden agenda, there's something we're holding back from you. There's nothing is being held back for you, but you have to make those steps to want the truth. Baba Cherby once said, concerning one of his instructions to our nation 30 plus years ago. Asay l'charav, take upon yourself or make for yourself a teacher, a mentor, aside from him, someone in lower gradation. And the prerequisites for this mentor is that she be a person of kindness and mercy. It doesn't have to be the greatest Torah scholar. It should be someone who fears God and who loves Creator. But if you, as the student who has made this person your mentor, is coming to them, you have pushed an issue, you've tried to open the envelope, you can't get the answer to the question you need for what a particular matter in your life, in spiritual matters, emotional matters, intellectual matters, matters of Torah, that if you are sincerely seeking the truth for the sake of elevating yourself, not just to be an intellectual egghead living in the ivory tower of your own self-grandiosity, then the Rebbe said, your teacher, your mentor, your Rav, your Mashpia, as we call them as well. Some call them Mashkiach. Hashem will put the right answer in their mouth, will bless them, because you've been blessed, because you're actually seeking the truth for self-refinement, self-rectification. So for this Ben Noach, or any Ben Noach, or Bas Noach, please don't feel that we're putting you in the box by telling you have these 7 commandments, because when you dig a little deeper, there are many more mitzvahs. And the Rambam writes that if you go about seeking to do more than the 7 mitzvahs, you should declare to Creator. Perhaps it's suitable by thought, but it's most suitable by expressing. You don't have to do it in a public way, but privately between you and Creator in a moment where you have solitude to commune with the Almighty, that you wish to take on such and such a mitzvah for the sake of receiving a reward. So here, you have the 7 commandments, which is an opening gateway to spirituality, to the point you can actually attain as well, Ruach HaKodesh, divine inspiration. I just don't see how that's putting you in a box. I see that as freeing you. But even as we Jewish people, if we call ourselves Jews, we have to work on being an expression of the quintessential Jew, which is the quintessential denier of idolatry, and the quintessential promoter of Creator's oneness. May we accomplish all of this, whether we be of the children of Noah or the children of Israel in the way of Ahava Chad, one love, Gorah Chad, one destiny for all of us, Badarchinam Darki Shalom, in a pleasant and peaceful way. And we'll conclude with our customary segue ending smile.